Hi, everyone. I thought it would be nice for you to be able to have some commentary on the review problems. The answers are on the calendar. So if you go to the calendar and then if you click on day 18, and if you look at day 18, first it does say the topics for our test, topics on the exam. In class today, remember we went over this. If you were not in class today, you should definitely come and see me tomorrow during Flex. I'm in C43. So remember, these are the things that will be on our exam. Make sure these things are in your notes, especially the stuff about the box plot. That's really important. But I wanted to show you the review problem answers. I gave you that piece of paper, and I have them written right here. But I did not give you an actual explanation. So I thought that might be helpful. Okay? So the first problem talks about Wayne Gretzky and his hockey playing games. And it said, would you use the median or the mean to describe the center? So I actually, if you notice, I had written this incorrectly. And I think it's right on the answer key, but I wrote it incorrectly originally. And when you look at this, it's actually going from the biggest to the smallest. So it's almost as if I had to take this information here and play it like this on the other side. So then all my data was on the right, so it's left skewed. Anytime something's skewed, we always use the median. I found by the median of 79 by actually taking my numbers and finding the middle one. I was able to find out that the mean was less than the median by, remember this? I'm going back over to this on the slideshow. We wrote down on our unit organizer what it looks like when the mean or the median is bigger when it's skewed. Okay? And so when it's left skewed, the mean is less than the median. Let's move on to the next one about women's basketball. I thought that this was a really good question, just because I think there's more than one answer. It says it's a box plot of the points scored for Cyrene and Alexandra, and so it looks like both girls have a median of 17. It looks like Serene is more consistent because she's consistently between 15 and about 20 points, whereas Alexandra can have as low as, looks like that's like 5, to as high as about like 27. If I was to figure out which team or which player to bring, I think it just matters. As a coach, if you want a more consistent game, I would take Serena. If I wanted take a gamble and a chance, I would pick Alex. And the reason I would pick Alex is because, wow, she can score up to 27 points, but she can also score as little as 5. These are one of those questions where I think it could, as long as you explain yourself, either answer could potentially be correct. I'm going to go in order, so I'm going to go down to 23. It says the box plots display case prices of wines produced. So when you're looking at this, there's 3 different wine regions here. It says which lake region produces the most expensive wine. If I look at all 3 of these, the most expensive wine is Seneca. They have one that's about $150. And the one that produces the cheapest wine is also Seneca. They've got one that it looks like is about, 50 perhaps right there. Which, and it says in which region are the wines generally more expensive? Well, is it Caica? Generally it's more expensive because look, its box plot is really from about 120 to 145. So in general, it is more expensive. And if I was to describe these, it looks like Cayuga and Seneca have the same average. They have similar medians. And even though Seneca's range is more, and there's some other things you can write, but that's a good starting point there. On 29, it says something about crowd crush, and here are the histogram box plots. So what features of the distribution can you see in both the histogram and the box plots? I can see that both of them, they're somewhat skewed. Looks like they're skewed right. I can see outliers right here. It says which features of the distribution can you see in the histogram that you cannot see in the box plot. So in that box plot, I can't see what I can see in the histogram, how there was some variance happening right over here, whereas in the box plot, that's just not very evident to me. Since this is skewed, I would say that it's, I would use the median. And which summary statistic would you choose to summarize the spread? Well, it's right skewed, so I would use the IQR. You could use the range too, but I think definitely that a lot of the 50% of the data is in that IQR. So that's probably what I would use. The next one, 27, 3 statistics classes took the same test. It says which class had the highest mean score. If I look at all 3 of these classes, it looks like the highest one is class 3, right? Because it's got the highest one there. And it says which had the highest median score. Again, 3, because it's got the highest going on there. For which class are the mean and median most different? Which is higher and why? Well, again, class 3, it's skewed, and the median is bigger than the mean because it is left skewed. Which class had the smallest standard deviation? I think class 1. It just has the smallest range between the variable. Remember, this is a frequency right here. So if I look at that, they have the smallest, whereas this has a high amount of stuff going on there. I also look at which class has the smallest IQR. Well, if this has the smallest range and IQR are similar concepts. So I would say that as well. Or sorry, I said that incorrectly. Which class has the smallest standard deviation? Well, IQR and standard deviation are both different types of range. So I would say that's why 1, since it has the smallest standard deviation, it would have the smallest IQR. Let's go back up here to 30. One measure of the difficulty of the golf course is its length, and this is the total distance. So when I look at this, what summary statistic would I use to describe this data? I would definitely use mean and standard deviation because it's symmetric. I would say that since it's symmetric, I would talk about its mean. That's my shape, or symmetric is my shape. When I say my center, I would identify the mean, which they gave me. My spread would be the range. I would also, since it's symmetric, use the standard deviation right here. So even though it says range, I'm saying that because summary statistics are shape, spread, and center. I should have written spread here because that's what I was looking for. Don't look at 46. I think it's a terrible question, so I would not use that as a reminder. I don't have anything about on these review problems making box plots and stuff. Definitely, please take pictures of my notes if you need to. Come in for flex tomorrow. And I'd also love to know next week, did these questions help you prepare or not? If not, let me know so that next time we can find something better to help us prepare. Good luck.